And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trade routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the market recap. Still Monday, March the 7th. It's been a heck of a down day in the equities, of course. Always makes me a little bit tired and always a little bit worried. Just kind of going over what the markets did today. It was a volatile day in crude oil. The $15 range from high to the low. Closing pretty far off those highs. Even the S&P's failure to hold balance and in the NASDAQ, of course, brought continuation to the downside. Dow closed down about 3%, NASDAQ down about 4%. The Dow to close down right about 800 points. NASDAQ is well below that 20% correction level. S&P's look to be heading towards that 15% level. Gold, late buyers closed the regular trading hour above weekly kickoff high. Trades above $2,000 today. The euro strength against the euro against the dollar continues to get smushed. Again, that's a industry term. Closes well below weekly kickoff inflection level. The 10-year settles, seeming to be waiting for information from the FOMC meeting next week. It's really centrally located in weekly kickoff high and low. And the natural gas failure to hold above that weekly kickoff high in the overnight brought a continuation to the downside, including what I think is going to be a late spike to the downside, which may be interesting for us for opportunities tomorrow. Just kind of looking at what happened in the news, it's of course all about our equities. Crude oil, Russia and Ukraine talking about holding a third round of talks. 1.7 million refugees have fled the country. Goldman stating that soaring commodity prices add more confusion to where the Fed goes from here, of course. Maybe some good news if you're looking for a used car. It looks like the prices of used cars might be coming off their highs because who can afford the gasoline, right? So we're going to take a look at the charts here in just a couple of minutes. As usual, make sure you hit that lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback. Heckling and love are always welcome here in the Market Forecast, the Market Recap. Good afternoon, Dan Emmons, I should say. Bill, Tachyon, Brian, Ocean Blue. Good afternoon, Vince. Wow, what a day is right. I'm so exhausted after down days. It's always been that way. 401ks, yeah, just about everything's in the toilet right now, but hopefully this like everything in the past shall pass. John Doherty, it's good to see you, my friend. John Doherty got a new dog, a beautiful dog, a nice rescue. She's a pretty girl. Forced liquidations burying the close. Today's a perfect example of when they go from plus to minus 2%. They go much further. There are fewer willing participants to step in. The ones who are bargain hunting and are bailing at new lows. A lot of stubborn players with forced liquidations. Dan Emmons with the information here. John Wilkowiak, hey, ouch is right, John. I hope you survived today all right. Alessandro, good to see you. Yes. And I remember that attempting to pick a bottom means that everyone else stuck above is long and wrong. The exit you are hoping for becomes their break even, right? and often where sell programs come in to punish those offsides. Brody, Denise, good to see you. Brody, hi, John. What's your opinion about possible shutdown of the market with a hack by Russia? Any chance? Well, I don't think that there's really much chance of that happening. I know that the CME group has their main server farm, I guess, downtown, but they also have a secondary server farm somewhere out in the suburbs. Where it is, I'm not quite sure. I think I remember hearing Aurora at one point. Maybe my good friend John Wilkowiak will remember this, but they have a whole complete backup system. So if there's one system that gets attacked, they have a backup system for it. As far as New York is concerned, there's a lot of different liquidity pools there. I don't think that, barring something truly catastrophic, the markets can get hacked by Russia with any real depth. I think that the exchanges have put contingencies in place for such of things, if such a thing were to happen, and I hope so. I hope that that's right. Aurora, yes, it's in Aurora. So somewhere between downtown and the other side of where I am is Aurora. Yes, better guarded than Fort Knox. You got that right, right? Yeah, so I don't think that that's a high probability. Yeah, there's going to be good stopgaps in place. Hey, the Dukes want their commissions. Oh, there is actually a YouTube clip on it. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Thanks, Jen. All right. So always exhausted after these big down days, John. Even if we made money, it seemed like they were really hard days. It's going to be a heck of a week at sea. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look through these charts and see what we're seeing. I apologize. I never did turn the other mic on, and I've got some new equipment hopefully ordered that's going to take care of all of that. So I apologize. Back to the daily. We were, kind of talking that the market was exhausting itself up at this level. We have new fears, and new fear brings in new participants, and we've been pushing the market higher, but on lower volume and lower open interest. I'm not all that impressed with the amount of open interest in this, although this market can certainly continue to go higher based on the emotions of the current situation. Looking at the 30-minute chart here, we had a big spike in the upside, a big gap. The market did not open the regular trading hour session above that level. It opened back below that level. So this still remains resistant. Basically, we kind of closed our weekend gap from here to here, trading, leaving the opening range at the high initially, coming down, testing down to settlement, turning around and continuing to kind of push higher, but still no real direction in this day. We did move value higher. Of course, that's going to be something important to be noticing. Tomorrow I think it's probably all going to center around weekly kickoff high 122.50. That level that held us last night. We broke back down through it, opened, took out the high of the opening range, tried to get back to that level. We were unable to do so. I think that's important information. And as long as nothing new changes or happens, which is unlikely over the next few hours till we get back to the regular trading hour session tomorrow. Again, I think a lot of what I'm going to be focusing on tomorrow is going to likely center around that weekly kickoff high. E-mini S&Ps. Okay. Looking at it this morning, would look like we were going to be opening in the balance area that we put forth last week. If we were going to be able to hold that value area, or that's just the lows from last week, I would think that we would have had a different outcome today. We were unable to do so. When we are trading inside value, we fade the extremes. On a breakout outside value on decent volume, we go with the breakout. The market has taken us right down to 41.85 quarter, 41.82 is weekly kickoff low. Imagine that. What are we looking at as far as percentages off the high? We still got a ways to go before we get to our 15% in the S&Ps. NASDAQ now closing firmly below the 20% correction level. Back to the 30. So let me put the profile on here. So the market opens, takes one little look above the opening range, doesn't find what it's looking for. Again, this eyeballed area of balance here, we were looking at really trying to hold the low of the range from Friday. We couldn't even do that in the first half an hour. Opening, continuation to the downside, and certainly now we've got a late spike to the downside. So opening below the late spike or within it is acceptance of lower pricing. We've got weekly kickoff low looking like it's going to be in play perhaps tomorrow for everybody as well. Make sure you watch the forecast. It's likely to be an interesting one. Here's the NASDAQ. Here's 20%, 13,414. Weekly kickoff low in the dust. This market has been presenting as weaker the entire time. It doesn't surprise me that it's leading the way down. And take a look at the 30 and see how this went. This market kind of opened below the balance area to a degree. And I thought I put all my profiles on here. I apologize. Don't want to waste your time looking at this. And okay, so the market opens. There we go. Now we got it. So the market opens in range and value. This right here, that low from last Friday, low from last week. Here's that pink line is the low from last week. We were unable to maintain activity inside those areas. Once that broke, it's time to go with it. And we've got another big late spike down to the bottom here for us to look at tomorrow morning. So maybe an interesting opportunity for us off these late spikes in the equities tomorrow. We'll be watching. The gold, not a tremendous move to the upside here, but at least we're adding open interest and bigger volume today on this push to the upside. We're kind of looking at volume being higher, open interest being higher. The auction process is actually presenting very well in gold. long as we keep bringing in volume and open interest on this move to the upside, I don't see any reason why it can't continue to go, especially when our equities are getting getting smushed. And yes, smushed is in this industry term. Take a look at the 30 here. So we have our weekend gap. The market opens, ranges, takes a look down to point of control, turns around, and then ends up closing above that weekly kickoff level. This 1990, what is it? 1992 and a half. 1992 and a half. Again, it's going to be another pivotal area for us tomorrow. It whacked around and finally ended up closing above that. So when we're thinking about acceptance of price, time is of the essence. We didn't get a lot of time to accept up here. I'm going to be treating this area as a late spike tomorrow morning. Euro, better volume on a continuation and a close below weekly kickoff low. It just happens on Monday. These weekly kickoff levels aren't really meant to envelop a weekly range. There are areas of technical and profile importance that I view as areas where longer time frame traders may be forced to adjust inventory. And with the euro in rollover, coming into rollover in the crude oil, coming into rollover in the equities, the next couple of weeks are going to be tough trade. Here's the 30 in the euro. So magnetic weekly kickoff level overnight, magnetic weekly kickoff level during the regular trading hour session. We did close near the low of the session and below the weekly kickoff level. A couple of attempts since the close on very low volume, but finding resistance now at that important inflection level. The 10-year looks like it might be a little bit of a dead stick for us for a little while here. Here's the daily. So failure at weekly kickoff high last night brought price centrally located between weekly kickoff high and low, last week's high and low. The upside structure is relatively short time frame, and we know we've got important information coming out next week regarding interest rates. So is this market just going to begin to coil and wait for new information? The way it closed today, it's really kind of what it looks like to me. But who am I? Here's the 30-year opening, testing into real acceptance of value. Doesn't pull out the value area special situation play. It certainly gave us the idea that it might be accepting inside of value. It did not play out. It's not truly a value area special situation play if we don't open outside of range and then come back into value. So very small range. I don't think the volume was all that great. Let's take a quick look back at that. So yeah, no big volume. The market is settling in, waiting for new information next week, it seems. We've already rolled, so we've got some time before that. Here's the nat gas. Here's the daily. Looking above that weekly kickoff, that swing high from back here on the 2nd of February in the overnight, unable to maintain it. Sellers came in and brought this market lower. This failure to break out above that level, I think, emboldened some of our sellers. Here's the 30 in the nat gas. So here's our opening. We didn't really have much as far as overnight inventory with which to look at. The market opened at 8 o'clock and started taking itself lower right off the bat. So The market unable to hold above weekly kickoff high, seeing some continuation to the downside. How is the volume in this today? Let's take another look. Little off. You're going to see what the open interest looks like tomorrow. You're going to see if we took off some open interest on maybe some profit taking, being unable to maintain prices higher. All right. Kenny, I am going in 2 weeks on vacation. So I'm unfortunately going to catch all of rollover. At least the bigger part of it. Again, I apologize for having my mic off. Sorry about that again. Good afternoon, Norman, Federico. All right. Find myself getting chopped up when I move to lower time frames to take entry. I'm either entering too early or I'm wrong. Well, the shorter time frames, the lower time frames, you're probably going to see a lot more setups, or what would appear to be setups. I keep my eyes on the longer time frames, especially when volatility hits. You're going to get a lot of false signals in those shorter time frames. So you're going next week, Kenneth. I'm going the week after. The week after, to the 21st, I'll be out of here for a week, taking a little bit of time off. We are going to have our good friend John Doherty covering for us for the market forecast and the market recap. I'm looking forward to watching. Is 4182 is weekly kickoff low, Vince. All right. Good session today in group coaching. Lots of questions. You can email in questions ahead of time to let me be prepared for them. But otherwise, it was a good session. It's good to see everybody. Another session on Wednesday, and Make Hogue Money on Thursday. I'll be putting out the link for Make Hogue Money tomorrow morning, and each morning until Thursday morning when we get into that fun session. This day in history is an important day in civil rights. This is Bloody Sunday, March 7th, 1965 in Selma, Alabama. 600-person civil rights demonstration ended in violence. We have a United States congressperson that was there that day. As far as other things that have happened on this day, 1999, Stanley Kubrick died today. Um, 1988, I remember this, the Writers Guild of America strike begins. They wouldn't write for any of your favorite sitcoms. This day in music, Townes Van Zandt was born in 1944, a very famous songwriter. 1962, the Beatles recorded their first radio appearance at the Playhouse Theatre in Manchester for BBC Radio. Something about Led Zeppelin here. 1969, appeared at the Bluesville 69 Club at the Hornsey Woodhaver in Finsbury Park, London, England. The venue function, it was a function in a room in the back of the pub with the stage so small that only Bonham's drums could fit there. The rest of the group had to stand on the same level as the crowd. 1970, Simon & Garfunkel's album Bridge Over Troubled Water started a 10-week run at number 1. By the time the album came out, the group had split up. 1991, the readers of Rolling Stone magazine voted George Michael the best singer and sexiest male artist in 1991. Anyways, that's enough of that. Where do we go for a refund when we lose money in the market? Yeah, gotta make it back. Gotta make it back. All right. Okay, very tired today. I have not been sleeping well. This war has got me very upset. I'm sure it's got everybody upset. So I just continue to pray. Lacey's barking because my son's home now. She is always very excited to see my son, as am I. So get some good rest tonight. I know I'm going to really try. Be ready for tomorrow. The markets are crazy, offering some pretty decent opportunities, and we'll see if we can't catch them. So say a prayer, be good to yourself, be good to each other, stay kind, get some good rest, peace on earth, say a prayer. And we'll see you in the morning, 7:45 for the market forecast. Till then, be good.